Tonight, we spend Monday in a pack at Daytona International Speedway on iRacing. Tonight, GridVision Superspeedways, presented by First Coast Fleet Services, has its penultimate race of the season here at the World Center of Racing. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Brits. Alongside me is Brian Britt, Austin Jarby Shar producing, as we get set for the second to last race of the season here at Daytona. And tonight, we return to the Gen6 cars for its final appearance of the season, Brian. Tonight should be a fun one once again for these drivers as they get ready for the lights to dim down for the season pretty soon.
Yeah, and I think just like any normal race we see, I think this season is a lot like a race. The closer we get to the end, the more exciting, the more intense it's getting, and I think that's the same to be true for tonight's race. So I can't wait to see what these guys have in store for us. Very cool track, 69 degrees at Daytona. Of course, nighttime, as qualifying, of course, is unfolding at the moment. 2.5 miles of high-octane action expected here tonight.
And in turn, these drivers expect to hit speeds around 200 miles an hour in the midst of the pack tonight. It should be a wild one. But here's one thing we do have to let you know. Sean Bounty has already mathematically just about clinched the championship. The points gap about 71 points entering tonight over Faison Shiev. Then it's James Self, Bobby Manso, and Mark McFadden amongst the top five. Sean Bounty not yet able to get into victory lane, but he's the only driver with 9 top 5s and 9 top 10s, let alone 9 top 10s at all. He's been consistent for every race except for the one that ended with a DNF the last time he was at Daytona.
Yeah, that's right, and it just shows. I think it really reminds me of old NASCAR. How you would maybe not have to necessarily win to win a championship, and I think that's exactly what's going on with Sean Bounty. I want to see, though, a really big exclamation point on this season from him. I want to see him break through and get that victory, but we'll see if that's going to be the case. Maybe we talk about him mathematically essentially being a lock for the championship title. Does that inspire or provoke a little bit more aggression here, Justin?
We'll have to see here tonight, especially with 13 entries on the entry list for tonight's action, including Self and including a couple more, looking to see if they can shake things up a little bit to try and break through as well here tonight. In turn, as we get set to go, I can remind you real quickly that this week also features a couple different races on the schedule of note this week, including SSRL for its truck series as it gets ready for its finales pretty soon. And don't forget about the special event this Saturday. It is a special rendition of the Brawl over in Five Flags. It's the battle with the Snowball Brawl, where drivers look to have a lot of fun, looking to get a little bit, as Nick Stein would put it, stone cold around the racetrack. It should be an interesting time this Saturday here on GridVision. And as that pun goes over everyone's heads, Brian, let's talk about tonight. Your thoughts on how to win this race in the Gen6 car, its final appearance of the season out of 3.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, this car has always, of course, it's been out of rotation for quite a while, but we've seen it make a little bit of a resurgence here in this particular league. Very exciting car to watch. I think it's very momentum-based. You're going to see guys lining up and really working hard to maintain that momentum. So I think that's going to provoke some 3-wide and possibly 4-wide racing here. Of course, at Daytona, a little bit more narrow than other racetracks, so 4-wide might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think we're possibly going to see it here tonight.
Qualifying's already done, 8 driver set times. Here's a look at your grid. Sean Bounty, no surprise, is at the front of the field tonight. It's a 47.508. It's his 5th pole in 11 races. Justin Levine starts alongside. He was within about 6 or 7 1,000ths. Heath Snyder, he was able to run up front all race in Atlanta last time out, and in turn pick up a victory in his 4th start. He's alongside Scott Wise. Faison Shiev, second of the points. He's been able to pick up a lot of stage points as of late. He's alongside Brendan Ishkanian. Then it's Bobby Mantle alongside Mark McFadden in the final row of qualifiers. The rest of the field is set via entry time. Matthew Kleinsmith returns for the first time in a while. He'll start alongside Jason Hand in the mediocre auto parts machine. Then it's James Self and Timothy Babcock. And rounding up the field tonight in one of the other GridVision paint schemes, Michael Little. So as we get set for tonight's action, 13 drivers all set to race for 65 laps here at iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway. Of note, the stage point time is lap 30, the conclusion of said lap. So in turn, we talked about keys to victory tonight. Who do you think is going to win tonight?
I don't know. That's tough. That is really tough. I'm gonna put it on Sean Bounty. I know it's not a great thing to start from the pole. I'd say at a Superspeedway because you're probably not going to end up there. But I think the 34, he's probably going to, since he probably knows that he has a really good shot at the title already, and probability is with him. I think he might as well go for it. So I'm really and look at that, Justin Levine's already celebrating his victory.
So, well, he's trying to get the tires warm. Why not? It's also very important to mention this is our first race here since the build week. And in turn, going to make things interesting. We've had a good discussion already before tonight's action in terms of what we've been seeing on the speedways per se, but not too much has been talked about on Superspeedways. What do you think may in turn play out differently with the Superspeedways, especially knowing a lot of the damage model adjustments coming into this week?
I have no clue, to be honest, what we're going to see here. I mean, the one thing I've seen, of course, on the speedways has been that it's been really, really hard to pass. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the case here. I think what we could see is a lot of rubber buildup. I think that has been one of the biggest features from this new, kind of overhaul that they've done. It has been the dynamic track. So expect, lines to start to possibly be stronger later, and you have to search for grip possibly as well.
Should be a fun time, to say the very least, to see how drivers respond to the oval refresh. We'll see how they fare out tonight here in a pack, here in the Gen 6 cars. Again, glad to have you with us for tonight's action, brought to you by First Coast Fleet Services, the penultimate race of the season. Sean Bounty already in line for the championship, ready to bring us to the green.
And it seems like Levine knows something that nobody else knows, because he is really trying to get those tires heated up.
Hey, what can I say? Cold tires can be very tricky, even on the super speedways. We've seen tire spin with this car in the past year or two, in the past couple of years, in fact. We're all set to go. Barney with the green in hand. Green flags out. We're underway from Daytona. And Levine in trouble. No. There goes trouble on the inside line. That is a spin for Heath Snyder. No caution. We stay green as the ESC driver gets out of the grass.
Oh my goodness. Heath Snyder, winner last week, spun out right. I don't even know if they made the start-finish line before he spun out there. That is unfortunate. But I'll tell you what, that overshadowed was the launch from Justin Levine. We talked about how he was warming those tires up. I really think that impacted his start, because he just was able to shoot out like a cannon when the green flag flew.
Take a look. Apparently, there was a different timing for the gear shift. Watch. He's stuck at 80 miles an hour, doesn't go, and everybody else goes as Levine gets the launch.
I wonder if he might have been, like you were kind of mentioning, gear. He could have been in a different gear there. But if we could take a look back at the Heath Snyder incident as well, I think that'd be good to really...
Trouble. We got more troubles in live action, too. Mark McFadden just nearly sputted. Here's a look at the replay again. Caution is out as the field has requested a caution for this.
And we see right here, it looks like Heath just did not get going. I'm wondering if he might have been in the wrong gear, because Faison, of course, was trying to get going, and I think Heath just did not get the memo.
So, the field requested multiple drivers, in fact, requested the caution. So that's why we're under yellow here, Brian. So in turn, the field electing to bunch things back up because half the field had lost touch with the pack because of that and half did not. So they're going to retry this again.
Yeah, that's definitely curious. I don't know. I definitely don't blame them. The admins or race control for throwing a caution there. And I think maybe even that oval refresh maybe threw these guys a little bit of a wrench, or a little bit of a curveball. Maybe something the way the tires spin, or something like that. Just guys just didn't like it, and Heath Snyder might not have been used to it as well. So this is going to be a good shot for him to get back in this. A lot of guys going to be able to get back in this. No harm, no foul. And I'm sure Levine, probably not too happy about it, but I mean, I'm
Well,
sure.
well, he was the one who actually threw the caution.
Oh, okay.
So technically, he is the race control and had at least, from my count in the headset here, 4 different drivers requesting the caution. So that's the reason there. So in turn, you have Levine, you have Scott Wise, Sean Bounty, Timothy Babcock, Brandon Ishikanian inside the top 5. And already, it's top-off time.
And I just find it insanely interesting that Levine is just so aggressive with his tire warming technique. We do not see that from him a lot of times. So I feel like there's something going on here. And I don't think he's taking gas here or tires. I think, oh, he is taking tires. So I wonder why he's being so aggressive. If he's just playing around, or if there's something to that. Because sometimes that over refresh could have put some data into the system here that maybe some others don't know, and Levine might have. No, I'm just looking. I guess maybe I'm overanalyzing.
And the interesting thing involving the refresh, at least from what I've noticed on the Speedway side, is you have to search around not just for the grip, but trying to find ways to cool down the tires. Like,
Mhm.
in a lot of cases, say you go to Legacy, Michigan, there's the chance you build a lot of heat, obviously, into the middle and to the bottom bracing lines, and it's very easy to cook your tires. So some drivers elect to go to the top to try and cool them down, and sometimes that doesn't work, obviously. So a lot of people try to adjust here as we are at 1 to go as we get set for the restart.
Yeah, and I've also heard that dirty air is a lot worse as well.
Yeah.
So
We're talking 10, 20, 15% on tires possibly with dirty air on the speedways.
yeah, so I don't know if that's going to really impact these guys here, but it could. It could. The massive lack of grip could cause these cars to be a little bit looser here at Daytona. Of course, Daytona has always been known as being a little bit of a looser track than Talladega. So, I mean, it could very well be possible that that could account for some of the issues we've been seeing. I think we haven't. I don't know if we'll see more of it, but I mean, could we see more handling issues? I think it could be possible. Pace car down pit road there.
Let's try this again. It's Scott Wise staying out with Mark McFadden to lead the front row. Green flag is out. And we're stacking up again on the outside this time. Bobby Mansell with a bit of a checkup. The inside line gets the good launch.
Yeah, Ishikanian didn't get to go as well, or didn't go very well either. Mark McFadden, though, pretty good launch. He's starting to get that middle to top groove rolling. Side draft into 34. He's getting a pretty good launch. Bobby Mansell, of course, surging ahead. Going to catch up to the 48. You see Wise thinking about jumping up to the top. Now, we know the 31 is a very adept super speedway racer. What is he going to do in this scenario? Is he going to try to control the line?
Right now, just staying to the yellow line, it looks like. Already, Justin Levine's been shuffled back big time. Something is wrong with Justin Levine's car because he has just fallen off a cliff in speed at 170 miles an hour. Everyone else is going 190. What are they doing back here?
I have no idea. James South, it seems like, is sticking with him, as well as Michael Little. It seems like some of these drivers, Jason Hand as well, they seem like they have, I think this is a conscious choice. I don't know if this is something that's wrong. I feel like maybe they're seeing fuel numbers and they're like, wait a second, let's try something else.
Run 20 miles an hour slower is something else?
I don't know, Justin. Your guess is as good as mine.
Side by side for the race lead, Babcock. Alonso's trying to work up front. He's on the outside, inside Mark McFadden. McFadden today, running with the Out of Groove logos. Always trying to change things up a bit. Just as how Babcock likes to lead in contact for second. Ichikanian tries to clear himself across McFadden. Problem is, McFadden's there.
Yeah, luckily that didn't turn out worse than it could have. I think Brandon just did not realize that he was not clear, and here comes Sean Boundy, going to take advantage of the checkup there. Big run with the help of Scott Wise.
Already the run back top, and not a lot of help on the inside. One thing I do say and have seen so far is, and this wasn't a part of the notes that I've noticed, the runs seem to be even bigger than they used to be.
They are quite huge. I mean, I'm seeing even faster
Oh my
laps.
gosh!
Pass under the yellow from Babcock. Look at him go. Wow, this is some exciting racing, Justin.
Well, that kind of emphasized the point. The draft effect seems to be huge compared to before. Like, we're talking, it almost feels like it's double or triple.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm wondering if that's iRacing's intentions or what's going on there. Here comes Babcock. Babcock's been one of the most aggressive drivers so far in this race. As he jumps to the bottom, of course, now he's got to wait for Scott Wise to get to him. But both lanes really moving quite quickly.
A lot of shuffling so far with Bounty. Already, Snyder is up to second, by the way. And we're already just about a few laps in. Remember, he was in the grass at in the first lap.
Yes, he's got to be thankful that they did elect to throw that caution to kind of aid him to get back into contention here. Definitely running really, really well right now as we're looking on board, I do believe, with Bobby Mantle in the 89. Of course, he's followed by Mark McFadden. Pretty good line of cars. 5 cars lined up in this on this top group. And definitely, I don't think that refresh changed anything when it comes to strength in numbers.
And now they're testing out that top line, trying to play around up there. Remember, this is more so the realistic line. But not too many drivers have the courage to run next to the wall yet entirely. Here's the big key, though. This pack right now is running 45-second lap times. Remember the drivers who were running 20 miles an hour off the pace? Well, they found an extra second of speed. They're reaching 2:03 down the straights now.
Yeah, this is definitely incredibly exciting. As you can see, the handling woes though for Mark McFadden getting a little bit loose coming out of turn 2. Sean Boundy, though, doing an excellent job maintaining that top groove. But you can see in the corners, bottom groove still faster. Oh, Heath Snyder touching a little bit of that yellow line. Babcock having to check up a little bit.
And these checkups already have been pretty big. Have seen triple car tandem attempts in the corners on some of these checkups with the big draft effect. Here's the thing, though. The more they run side by side like this, the more they hold each other back here. They are 3 miles an hour slower by the end of the straightaways compared to the single file group.
That's really interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, you see James South back here in the 9th place position hitting 44.7s. He is about a half a second or more faster than this top group. So I think that might be was the plan there with South and Levine, that maybe they just wanted to kind of get into their own little group to kind of control their own destiny in a lot of ways. And they're quickly running down this top group. Oh, big wiggles there for Mark McFadden. Almost lost it out of 4.
Able to hold on to it, though. The pack stays together for the time being. But in turn, that checks up the inside line a fair bit. Keep in mind, in the sim, the data is still up to 203 on the speed. Imagine if the big reason for the draft effect is they accidentally made the cars 20 miles an hour slower in the back end. There is an update on Wednesday. Part of me is wondering if that's the cause, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. We'll see if that's if they're going to fix it. I'm wondering if that's maybe impacting other series like the Draftmaster series. I know that's oh man, I'm telling you, that bottom line is getting really wiggly. Mark McFadden, I don't know if it's maybe Heath Snyder taking the air off of the back of the 48, or if the 48's just. I wouldn't even mind looking on board with Mark McFadden to see exactly what he's doing with his wheel that's making him so wiggly.
Yeah, here's the look on board. And a lot of people have to grip the wheel extremely tight to hold on to the line with these cars, or with any car per se. There's a reason they call it white knuckling.
That's right.
And he didn't really even move the wheel much, and he's already slipping off the bottom of the racetrack. There's the problem. He's almost getting
Yeah,
too low,
that's
counteracting
right.
by trying to go up the track, and in turn that caused the wiggle.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what it is. He's just touching a little bit of the apron. That stuff down there is there's no grip on that apron. That paint. And it looks like I do believe we got some more wiggles there. I think that is the rest of the pack has rejoined. 3 wide. Look at Levine making away. Get out of the way. Oh, Mark McFadden up the racetrack into Levine. This is possibly going to be a storm brewing.
There's the storm, and now it's pouring. Caution is out. Not yet, in fact. Timothy Babcock spinning. There it is.
And of course, Babcock, I do believe, and James South both getting together as they were 3 wide, and you could just see the huge runs that Levine was getting. And unfortunately, I think this just condensed the pack a little bit too much. As you see, Scott Wise, hits the outside wall fairly hard.
To the surprise of nobody, the two packs converge, and when it gets crazy, well, it gets crazy quickly. Wise himself in range to have to use the fast repair already, and we're only on lap 15. Here's a look again. Remember, this pack was about 3 seconds back after checking up, converged, and bye-bye pack.
I think a lot of this crash was based on people trying to kind of move up to avoid a slowing Mark McFadden. I mean, not to call Mark out, but he was slowing down a little bit. I think probably a little bit, I'd say, panicky, considering Levine, the way he was driving to the front like that, kind of sparked a little bit of some caution, I think, from the 48. And I saw Wise was behind the 48 and then moved up. And that's kind of what sparked that whole, that whole issue.
So in turn, under caution, right now drivers are just outside the fuel range by about 10 laps, it's worth noting, for the projected end of said marks. And expecting a lot of the drivers to top off, once again, to be able to try and equalize. Of note, all the drivers who stayed out there, McFadden and Wise specifically, ended up losing just about all their spots they had gained by staying out during the original caution period. Wouldn't be surprised to see 4 tires for lawn drivers too with the wiggles already.
Yeah, I definitely think we could see the tires start to wear, especially with how hard these guys have been racing. It looks like Faison not really taking any tires. I think he just took gas. So battle on off of pit road, I do believe. Ooh, Boundy, I think, barely got it.
So the race up pit road does go the way of Boundy, in fact, over Faison Sheath. Then it's Mantle, Snyder, McFadden, the top 5. Scott Wise is trying to get the damage fixed manually, while at least one fast repair has been used by James Self to be able to fix up his car. Also, Ishkani Amonso's getting some damage repair done in the pit lane currently. So we're under caution, under 50 laps to go, when we take our first break right here as we get resorted here. About halfway through the stage, you're watching GridVision. Welcome back, everyone, to GridVision for coverage of GridVision Superspeedways, where we spend Monday in a pack. Sean Boundy is the leader up front. Faison Schiff electing to stay on the inside. Mantle, Snyder, McFadden, and Kleinsmith, the top six. As we get sorted for the restart of note, Scott Wise elected to get the damage fixed manually to get the meatball flag removed from his car. James Self, after getting his meatball flag fixed via fast repair, is up to 9th. Of note as well, Levine back in 10th. An interesting race so far. We'll see what happens here, to say the very least. Brian, we're close to the pit window, mind you, to make it on green. On fuel.
Yeah, but I think we'll see another caution, so I don't think a lot of these guys are really worried about that. But we'll see.
See what happens here on this restart. Snyder, you see from on board, has Bounty in front, launching from the high side. Green flags back out. We're back racing once again at Daytona. And already, a lot of single file just about here, as a lot of drivers did not get a lot of speed.
That's really curious also, seeing Bounty elect to start from the top. That's not something you usually see at Superspeedways, but I don't know why Bounty thought to do that, as Faison gets a massive run. Bounty trying to defend, not able to. Here comes Faison Schick on the bottom. He has had the hot hand here as of late. Hasn't broke through the victory lane. Can he do it here tonight with the help of Bobby Mantle, I do believe his teammate?
Side by side once again for the lead, and Bounty going white, chose top. Get some help in turn from Snyder. Keep in mind, Bounty is working with Mantle and Shia for tonight's action in terms of communication, so technically they're controlling both the lines, but also pretty clear, if you get the numbers, you can get the top to work very well here, just like we've seen with the next-gen car.
First time we've really seen Kleinsmith up here in the top three. Looks like he's definitely getting figuring this car out pretty well, as he's up in the third place position, following Heath Snyder. So definitely looking like those two are working very well together, as well as Jason Hand up in the top 5.
Right now, a lot of drivers using that top line to their advantage, especially Levine and his teammates. Kleinsmith coming down to help. And Little trying to turn himself across Shia to try and help as well. That's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't think the 15 really liked that very much, so he said, nope, not going to happen, brother. As you see, Levine getting pretty wiggly off of turn 2, but he is going to stick with Kleinsmith, try to push him to the lead. Levine, one of the best super speedway racers here on iRacing. As you can clearly see it, you see Bounty, no slouch himself, very much in control of that top groove. Oh, Kleinsmith.
Oh, that's from pushing in the corner. And remember the phrase, do not push in the corners.
That's right.
A lot of drivers have thrown that phrase out the window thinking it's the next-gen car.
Yeah, you could do that in the next gen. You cannot do that in the Gen 6. Even though we just had an over refresh, they didn't refresh that aspect of it. Big move, though. Michael Little jumps to the bottom in front of Kleinsmith.
Already checking up on the outside again, and yet again 3 wide causes problems. Michael Little this time on the grass. We stay green. That was from James Self going up the middle.
Yeah, South went up the middle. I wonder if there was any contact there, because it seemed like Michael Little maybe was reacted to the air. I don't think they actually touched. But it's definitely shaking up this pack right here. So we're going to take a look back at this. Look at this run that 21 gets. He just shoots through the middle like a rocket.
Not even lined up on the inside,
Yeah.
That's why.
He didn't even touch. So that had nothing to do with James South. That had something to do with I do believe Kleinsmith.
Remember, the Chevy has more of the pointed nose, and that can come into play a bit. We've seen it in real life. We're seeing it here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
One thing that is major, tandem drafting can be big with this car. Look at James Self getting the tandem from Levine. They're trying to work on their own on the bottom, and they ran away 4 car lengths as a result of the tandem from Kleinsmith. Now they're no longer tandeming.
Well, the one thing about it, and I think what we're going to see these guys break up a little bit sometimes, is to probably save the engines. Because, I mean, these Gen 6 were notorious just like a NASCAR truck, getting hot when you push too much. And I think that's what we're going to start to see. And that's why we see Kleinsmith driving back up to these guys. So they're going to have to back off occasionally to kind of cool the engines off, get some clean air as South gets a little bit loose there on the backstretch.
So everybody except for Scott Weiss in the main
Whoa.
pack. By the way, there's the wayside of the top line getting big checkups. Just about everybody nearly ran each other over up top.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Jason Ham was trying to avoid getting into the back end of Heath Snyder, and Faison Sheik did not get that memo. He didn't get that text message, and that's one thing about it. You have to be aware of what's going on this racetrack, because at a moment's notice, things are going to change, and you have to react to it, and if you don't, there's going to be deadly consequences.
Coming up to 6 laps to go until stage points, by the way. Top 10 score points. In turn, McFadden's currently on that bubble. 12 drivers having a chance to score said points. Boundy wanting to gain another stage victory. He's picked up 89 bonus points and near trouble at the back again. Babcock, yet again, trying to get around McFadden after a slide. Nearly took it underneath the old line again.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of handling difficulties here tonight, and I think that's kind of been the story of this oval refresh. Is it has really changed a lot, even on the super speedways, and I think these guys are just pushing their cars a little too hard, and they're learning some lessons, I do believe. And what a timing for this oval refresh, considering we're getting ready to wrap this season up. So this could, of course, it's not going to probably change the champion, but it could change who finishes second place in the championship order.
Still sorting things out, coming to 5 laps to go in the stage this time by. Remember, no stage caution. Reward of the points. Snyder ditches Boundy. He now finds some help with all his friends and teammates on the inside.
Yeah, big run there for Snyder. You have to take those runs. I think that's one thing we've been noticing all season long. These guys are not afraid to take runs. He jumped out, and South, fortunately, was able to kind of get to the back bumper and give him a good push. Levine, something is going on. Levine is wiggling all over the place. I don't know what is happening here. I don't know if this is basically because of Kleinsmith pushing him, but I'm seeing Levine is really having to, I don't know if he's sawing the wheel or what's going on here.
Yeah, it's been interesting how some of the drivers have been in terms of the battle with the cars. More contact from the bump draft in the tri-oval. Yet again, do not push in the corners. The tri-oval is a corner.
Yeah. Don't push the pusher as well. I think, definitely that's something you could do in the next gen. You cannot do that in the Gen 6. But look at that. I mean, I was looking on board with Levine to see exactly. Look at that.
They're trying to triple draft, and that's not working for Snyder either. He nearly got spun again.
Even though he had some handling woes, they're getting massive runs. And I think that's the problem. These guys are having to lift so much.
A few laps away from the stage point mark, and now Levine gets shoved underneath the yellow line. They've got to be careful here with the way they're driving. My gosh.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it's anybody's real fault. I think it's just the way these runs are coming. And if you're a driver, you're a racer. I mean, you got to take these runs. And I think a lot of these guys are, trying to put that into the back bumper to the car in front of them. I mean, I really can't blame them too much. To be honest with you, am surprised we have been this green with how aggressive this car is making these guys drive. And there goes Heath Snyder around right in front of the field.
He brings Self with them. Levine goes underneath the old line as well. No caution yet. There it is. Caution flag is out. And remember, it's at the end of lap 30 for the point mark. And it looks like we'll at least get to the start of lap 30 before they reach the pace car.
You know what that means? That means Sean Boundy getting ready to get another stage win.
Well, this could be tricky. It should be Boundy, in theory, because his pit stall's the first. Now, the mid-pack points are going to be the interesting one, because if you have a pit box before the start and finish line, that's going to be a little tricky for the points now, is it?
Yeah, that's definitely true. Didn't
Don't
really
think
think about that.
I don't know if anybody tonight has that problem, but we're going to find out, aren't we? Let's take a look at the replay. You could just see it coming.
Yeah, just a bad bump. I mean, South had such a run up to the back bumper of the 29 and just didn't hit him square. And sent him right around. And Levine trying his best to avoid complicating the situation further. I think he got out of there with minimal damage. I don't think Heath really got too much damage as well. See right there. South got up to the back bumper of the 29 as well as Levine got up to the back bumper of the 21. Wow, look at South. South narrowly avoiding that wall. He did get a little bit of a piece of it.
Seen some great saves since the new build came out, but tonight, some contact yet again to the walls for some. Again, how things are sorted coming up to the pit stops here under caution. This to get drivers to the end likely on fuel. Bounty, Hand, Mantle, Sheath, Ishikanian, Babcock, McFadden, Kleinsmith, Little, Levine. And, oh my goodness, Bobby Mansell just stole the points from Bounty. I don't think he can.
I don't know.
He just stayed out to get the points.
That's
he just
definitely
got
interesting.
it.
That's
very
interesting.
Timothy Babcock just took the first and second place stage points.
Now, I'm not sure how that changes things here because I'm looking at Mantle. Mantle is fourth place in the points right now, and I think this might be a gamble to try to jump up because, I mean, the battle for third in the points is very, very close between South and Mantle, so I think that might have had something to do with it.
So Bobby Mantle in turn for the second straight week, able to get a stage win under caution with the pit sequence. Remember, there's a 15-lap offset now between him, along with Babcock, compared to everybody else who just pit. Of note, Bounty, 2 tires. Little, 2 tires. McFadden, 2 tires. Hand on back on your pylon, taking 4 tires here. And I know it's the normal call of just take the gas, you're good to go, but it's been so unpredictable on tire grip in the slides. Is it worth trying, even with the Gen 6 car, mind you, to even take the 2 right now? Or no?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think we really have seen enough data to show what exactly the tire wear is. So I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of these guys are pretty much just in experimenting mode. Essentially, I think 2 tires is worth it. I mean, Daytona, you've always been able to kind of do that at tracks like this. But I think that these guys are about to find out. I mean, why not try it out? I mean,
well, we're about to see a big experiment, aren't we? And it looks like Timothy Babcock may elect to come down this time by. Keep in mind, pit road is closed for him, and it looks like a lot of drivers are nervous on the gas mark here. With 34 to go, a lot of drivers electing to top off. This might be a lot more tighter than we thought. Remember, the car used to, with this fuel mileage for the Gen 6, get about 35 up to maybe 40 laps, depending on the year. It looks like a lot of drivers think it might be even less now.
Yeah, that's really, really curious. I'm wondering why they have decided to do that. You see as well, I think Bounty just took right sides as well. He lost a lot of positions there, back to 11th place, so actually 10th place. Ishikanian, of course, back in 11th. But no, that was a big call, and that is curious. I mean, usually 40 laps around that area is about what the fuel is at this track. And I do remember talking before the race began, asking what the fuel window would look like, and we were confirmed. It was confirmed that is a full tank, 100% gas. So it looks like people are really close, though, Justin, from what I'm hearing from our producer, as well as some of the drivers on track.
So that's the conversation right now. Of note, Timothy Babcock, no surprise, black flag, entering a closed pit.
Mm.
And remember, that's a penalty you have to serve under green.
Oh, no.
So that's the risk of staying out for the stage points. You can't top off.
That's right, because, I mean, if you don't go down that first lap, they close pit road for you. But I didn't know that was something you had to serve under green. I thought that was a
It is.
EOL. Oh, they must have changed that. That is a
It,
harsh penalty.
it's been that way for 3 years. And apparently, well, in sim, it's showing Babcock, but hearing there may be something with Mantle, and they've now cleared it for Babcock.
Well, that is very fortunate for him.
And his own teammates are saying, why are you clearing it? Green flag is out back underway. And it looks like they're going to give Timothy Babcock his black flag back. There's a lot of conversation from the radio.
Yeah, I think he is still going to have to serve. So I think he actually, got a passing under yellow penalty. That is definitely a green flag. You have to serve that. And Bobby Mantle gets a excellent launch on the restart. But unfortunately, that's not what you want at Daytona. And the Michael Little, Heath Snyder, and James Dow pass him like he's not moving. You don't want to get jumps at tracks like Daytona because guys will be able to draft right up to you and pass by you like you're not moving. And it looks like we got some guys coming down pit road. Here comes Babcock serving this penalty.
And this is not a surprise. Just about the entire field, by the way, was saying that was not a clearable black flag. So that's the reason there too, and understandable, since he did come in a closed pit lane. In turn, that's broken things up a little bit as things got sorted out there. She is all the way back to about 6 for now. The inside, Jason Hand, Justin Levine, Brandon Ishkadian. Up top, the leaders, Little, Snyder, Self, Mantle, and Bounty are all trying to become Pied Pipers.
Yeah, I think they're working together, just trying to get some laps turned. Just to kind of turn the clock, run the clock out until we get to the end of the race, and then they'll start to make moves. But some of the drivers maybe not doing exactly that. You see Jason Hand, of course, leading that bottom line, moving up the fifth. They're getting some massive runs on that bottom line. Justin Levine really pushing the 0-0 quite effectively.
Yeah, doing really well, lining up the bumpers, it looks like. Here's a look from Levine. And you see it just getting a good push for the corner exit to the point where it's like, let's tandem, it's worked. Oh my goodness, did it work.
Oh yeah, they were shot out of a cannon. And that I even said it earlier, Levine is one of the best super speedway drivers on the service. When we say stuff like that, we're not joking around. We're not just trying to, just play, just kind of talk him up. I mean, I'm being serious. He is one of the best.
And he's shown that in a lot of circumstances over the years with a lot of different teams. Hello, Timothy Babcock. Welcome back to the racetrack. Let's go around you.
Yeah, luckily everybody got by him. That could have been a very big visibility issue there, having him come back up when he did, and they were, of course, double file. Mark McFadden trying to make something happen. Brandon Nishikani, and he's getting touched a little bit from the rear from Michael Little. Ishikani, of course, trying to avoid bumping Levine because, of course, one of the golden rules for this Gen 6, do not push the pusher. That's Mark McFadden now in the lead.
An interesting note, Amonso's up front. McFadden top off on gas. After his election to take the 4 tires, Hand topping off on gas. Bounty ended up taking the rest of his 2-tire call on the top off initially. Then you have Levine with 1 minute and 15 seconds of repair. Scott Wise took an extra 1 minute and 50 seconds to fix a lot of his damage. He's still got a crushed right front that originally was a meatball flag for a broken suspension, and he's running 6th in the pack.
Yeah, no, that car is running really good considering the damage that he has. You can even look at his front end. It's definitely beaten, and it looks like a crumpled soda can, but it's running really good right now. I think if he got in front, though, it would not be the case because, I mean, of course, that's the way the air usually works in these cars. When you get up front, they just do not handle near as well here at Daytona or have the speed, considering he'll pretty much, I'd say, have a lot of friction in the air, drag with the more damage. So hopefully the 31, he might even have fast spare left. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who all still
Yes,
has fast spares, but I think he's saving it until the last possible moment, which is smart.
very smart with how this race could go at this point. Already coming up to 28 laps to go this time by the stripe for reference. Kleinsmith and Babcock are the only drivers to lose the draft. Babcock from 2 laps down from the penalty serve. Kleinsmith fell back at the start of the run. Right from the get-go, he's had a hard time at times this year. Although he is 13th in the points after his 5 starts on the season. But once again, how do you plot this out from here? Because we've seen how big the runs are, how you haven't the X amount of cars up on top, for example, it usually powers ahead. But the second anybody tries to settle down, run the top, 2 cars tandem and pass them all in the inside lines, comes back again. It's like half the field wants it to be calm until the final few laps, but the other half wants it to be 3 wide, 10 cars deep, basically, like it's Coke.
Yeah, I mean, there are some guys that are, not on the same page. Faison Sheik, he drops down to the bottom. Of course, he's not going to have a whole lot of help for right now, but he does have, I do believe, Brandon Ishikanian drafting up quickly. So we do have the bottom line really starting to build, but they don't seem like they're working very well together, I got to say. I mean, it's very difficult to line up bumpers, I say, with the dirty air. And it's hard to. One thing about super speedway racing is it's very difficult to predict what line that guy in front of you is going to be holding to, and that's one of the biggest things that you have to be able to do, is be able to predict that guy's actions in front of you.
More chippiness on the radio this time. Brandon Ishkenian saying he was used to the next gen. Apparently, Faison Sheik's response to getting a bump out of turn 4 was, I know you're trying to help me turn, but that's not going to help us.
Yeah, and I think that, like he just said, I mean, the next gen, I mean, you can bump like that in that race car. That car's a lot more solid, a lot more, I think, planted because of the diffuser. But this car, not at all. I mean, this thing is very wiggly. And you see 3 wide south in the middle, being aided by Michael Little. Of course, Bobby Mantle's up top. Levine working on that bottom side with Faison.
3 wide, and again, the side forces making things compressed here. Oh, a little too much compression on the inside for a moment. Able to keep going for now, though, but that forces the 2 wide. Remember, with this car, you get side forces on both sides of the car. It can slow you down up to 3 miles an hour in this pack, and from what we've already talked about, that's enough to be a few tenths back per lap.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think that, we've been seeing these huge runs in the draft. I think that's probably even multiplied, I'd say, that side force and things like that, the impact of the dirty air. I mean, all these cars, when you're 3 wide like that, it is almost like a storm of wind that is brewing in between these race cars, and that can cause a lot of effects on handling and speed. And we clearly saw that as, of course, 3 wide's now broken apart. Levine leading, I do believe. No, that's actually South leading that bottom line.
Levine trying to get a little poke and a little bit of clean air on the nose in turn. So we're back to that calm period once again for the time being. So already past the halfway mark. Coming up to 22 laps to go. Boundy so far, he's been trying to have redemption for what happened the last time the series went to Daytona. It was at Daytona back at the end of October. He had a good chance to be able to come away with the victory before chaos struck. Final laps of that race, after contact with drivers like Faison Sheik down the back straight away. Today, he's led 30 laps out of the 44 so far.
Yeah, he's definitely been the dominant, driver here tonight for sure. And I hope he can break through tonight. I really do. I mean, to have a season that is winless and still be, pretty much the championship favorite, I think that's an accomplishment all on its own. But I think he wouldn't feel right if he didn't win at least one of these races, and I think that's what the 34's got in mind right now. But I think there's also a lot of other drivers that do not have that same mentality. I think Snyder, he wants to go back to back. I mean, of course, he won last week at Atlanta.
Keep in mind, when we ran the NASCAR Grand National / the Xfinity Series cars as well, was just taking a look at the start of this past month's rotation. It's important to mention he did come away in second in that respective race. The interesting thing to note when it came to the last time out, technically at Daytona being on that 27th, it was by 0.054 seconds in a race where it was Michael Little who dominated the way with just about all but 2 drivers leading laps that day. It's been a lot more different tonight because so far we've had about half the field lead, but the next closest is 3 for Wise and Mantle. Just the big difference car type where compared to the others.
Yeah, definitely. And even more, speaking to car type, I mean, maybe even the manufacturers as well. I mean, not a whole lot of Toyotas in this race, and Bounty has been the dominant car, and he's driving a Toyota. I don't think there's any other Toyotas, to be honest, as well. So could that even have some sort of an impact? I don't know.
Well, technically on iRacing, it's supposed to be each car has the same performance for the most part. You may have the little nuances here and there, but in real life, there is those big differences. You are right. There's already been a lot of talk about the Toyotas in 2024 with the next-gen cars, new body for their car, of expecting me like almost like the Fords, where it's easier to push.
Yeah, well, we have seen, even though it's supposed to be the same in sim, I have seen some differences before. Whether that be something that iRacing made a mistake on, as we see 3 wide in the mid pack here. I do believe Mark McFadden trying to get something going here. It looks like the 3 wide is broken apart. Oh, not anymore. What's Justin Levine making a big move?
Levine nearly turned himself across the nose of Han, trying to get inside, but able to get there. Of note, Matthew Kleinsmith is about to lose a lap. He's running 186 miles an hour. The main pack is running 196 in the corner.
That's really interesting to see that Levine with that big move. All that huge run he had just disintegrated. It just went away in a moment. And unfortunately, he has fizzled out and at the wrong time, considering, like you mentioned, there's a lap car we're getting ready to encounter, and he's much slower than this field. This could provoke some problems.
A little bit of contact, and it looks like Mark McFadden has a lap car used as a pick in front of him. And tempers are flaring again. And it looks like the one left out to dry is Levine.
Yeah, he's been one of the fastest, or has been one of the fastest here in this series. But unfortunately, just not catching a whole lot of luck here tonight. As Sean Bounty still in control. Oh, big moves there for Faison Schick. He gets really loose.
Still 2 and 3 wide again. And now that the teammates start to line up on the inside as they look to try and gather things back up. On lap 50, coming up to 15 laps to go. It's the matter of who gets up front at this point, and already it's the calm before the storm yet again. And most of the field is electing to choo-choo train up top. And Faison Schick goes way too high and scrubs the wall.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe the tires are starting to as well have some sort of an impact for Faison here. Because I know that I don't believe took tires on that last stop. So could he be getting a little bit tight in the draft of the 48 of McFadden? It seems like that could be it, as well as it could be a visibility issue to where he can't really see where that wall begins because of the car in front of him.
Down to the 15 to go, and here we go. Snyder wants to go up front. He elects to ditch Bounty this time, and the battle's back on. Snyder again, trying to work with all his teammates inside. Schick tries to use the draft off the inside. Forced to check back up top. And it almost looks like having the alliances come into play once again. It's almost like, again, in real life where you try and have the alliances of, okay, we're X manufacturer, it's time to work like a group with their manufacturer. In this case, okay, all my friends are down to the bottom, let's work like a group on the bottom.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. I think Snyder, Little, South, and Levine were probably all communicating, and Heath was like, okay, I'm tired of pushing Bounty. I see you guys are coming. I'm jumping down in front of you, and I'm sure they were like, go ahead, let's make it happen, and it's happening. I think it's a little bit too early, though, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like you want to be making these style moves probably 5 laps to 2 laps to go. And I think Bounty's going to have the advantage on that top line. He's been so good up there at maintaining. These guys are having trouble really getting that run to come to fruition to actually get past the 34.
Oh, a bit of a bounce in the middle of the corner again. And that nearly turned Snyder in the middle of turn 4. 13 laps to go. But it's already been pretty much shown here. They have the numbers inside, but it's almost nigh impossible almost, unless you can get a lot of speed built up to get these passes down.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. These guys are getting such good runs on the backstretch that it's, like you said, impossible. And I think also as well, I'm sure that the handling is a difficulty, for Snyder. I think Michael Little doing a great job pushing Snyder. But I think that also some of the bumps have not been quite as square as they could have been. And that has caused handling woes that has bled a lot of the momentum from the bottom line as well.
An interesting thing I am noticing, though, that's a difference. It's almost feeling like, remember the conversation of better to be on the top down the straightaways, better to be on the inside of the corners. For the most part tonight, that hasn't been the case because they're dead even in the corners. There's a small boost right here down the backstretch on the high side, but it dies out here.
I've also been noticing something that I want to mention as well. The top line, Sean Bounty and Scott Wise, haven't been touching each other. That's another different. Now they just touched each other just now. But for the most part, Bounty has been defending that bottom line charge without having to bump trap. There has not been any physical contact. And I think that's just showing that the buffer of air is actually what's pushing Bounty along instead of the actual race car itself. And I think that might show that maybe physical contact with the two bumpers is not a positive.
Take a very quick side-by-side, 10 to go at the stripe. You're watching GridVision for GridVision Superspeedways.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to GridVision, where the caution just came out with under 10 laps to go. James South had a spin into turn 1 after contact with Mark McFadden. And after he corrected back up the racetrack and, well, left the garage, caution comes out. And this could get interesting. Of note, this does save Bobby Mansell. He just pit for fuel that lap.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there could have been a caution at any point in that whole little just exchange. There was quite a number of layers to that. But I wonder, James South, he probably could have saved that, but I think the heavy damage probably messed up the suspension. But what crazy under the break you were talking about, I think Bobby Mansell had just came down pit road and was trying to top off. So did he go a lap down? Looks like he is on the lead lap still.
That caution just saved his race. Remember, he did not pit after taking the stage point victory. And these rest of the competitors are about 28 laps into their fuel runs this time by. So this essentially sets up about a 5-lap shootout for the penultimate race of the season. Not what some of the drivers wanted there.
It's curious as well. You see Bounty running on the apron right here. A lot of times you see this is a gas-saving measure to kind of shorten the track up. Now, Bounty was one of the drivers that did top off on a previous caution, so he should be good to go. So if anybody's going to be doing this, it'd probably be a driver like Levine or something like that, because I know that he was one of the drivers that was really light on gas. As here comes Scott Wise. Here comes, Levine's coming, and Babcock.
So remember, Babcock is laps down here. And for Scott Wise, he has a faster pair in his back pocket, so he can get the car fixed. So he has to. So the lucky dog, this caution flag is Matthew Kleinsmith's 11 drivers on the lead lap, 12 still running with this caution period. And not a surprise to see some of the errors keeping the track position, but already it looks like green-white checkers a thought for Bounty.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. And he's been so good at defending. So I think he's in good shape. This could possibly be his chance to win a race this season. But I know Heath has been really, really strong charging. But I think that what really gave Heath his strength was the solidarity that he had with his friends behind him. So will he still have that? I know he's got Michael Little, but I don't see a whole lot of other drivers that are really allies of Heath up here in the top 5.
Of note, where is Levine going? There he
I think
is.
he's trying to do the dirt track or the short track or the road course. I got every discipline but the right one, road course racing.
And now he's doing the Raja Karoof. He's taking the road course once again. He's pulling the Raja Karoof, it looks like. So anyhow, it's now a 4-lap shootout, it looks like, for when we get the green flag. With Sean Bounty in control. Heath Snyder second. Michael Little, Mark McFadden, Sheath Hand, the top 6. Ichkanian in 7th. Mantle. He's followed by Wise, Levine, and Kleinsmith. With how they're sorted out here. Are you sticking to the pick with Bounty? We've seen Snyder several times line up behind the 34th and ditch him.
Yeah, but even with that, Heath wasn't able to really defeat Bounty. So, but then again, Bounty has had some variables change. He does not have Scott Wise behind him anymore. I'm going to stick with the 34. I think Bounty is going to win a race this season, and it could be this one. I'm going to stick with it.
Yet again, he's choosing the top of the racetrack. In honesty, I think Snyder might have a chance here. Once again, wouldn't be surprised with the back-to-back, and he's got friends inside. Does that work this time? And our producer pick, hearing in the radio and in the ears, is Mike Little. Interesting enough, Brian.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that all three of these guys are good picks. We're all going to be sad though, I think, when Mark McFadden wins. Well, I'll be happy for him, to be honest with you. I'll actually be really happy for Mark if he was able to. But he's had a good race. The 48's been really good here tonight. I got to give him a lot of credit.
Yes, he had a lot of wiggles, especially in the early going. But that 48 is amongst those who is keeping track position late here. So we're about to really see what these drivers have in store to close things out. 4 laps to decide it. Green white checkers available if necessary. We're about to see how this all fares out. Already hearing a lot of talk about radio, or the respective paint schemes more so, but we'll see how the focus plays out to determine who gets the win once the cars get rolling.
What a fantastic race, too. I mean, I've had a thoroughly great time calling this one here. I mean, these Gen 6 cars, they are so much fun to watch.
All set to go for 4 laps of racing. It's Sean Bounty up at the front, Snyder on the inside, green flags out, back it away, and both drivers in the front row near dead even. Who gets the better draft in the second row for the push?
Yeah, I don't know. It's looking like they're going to be dead even still in 1 and 2. Of course, shorter distance around the racetrack is Heath Snyder. Big run from Michael Little up to the back of the 29. Can Mark McFadden match what Little's doing? And as well, we're going to have a big group of cars drafting up to this top 4. And it looks like Top Line surges ahead.
Babcock, one of the lap cars, trying to take Levine with them 3 wide of the back. Here's a look into the bumpers. Sheehan trying amongst those to get the lines going. Bounty can't block the inside. Coming to 3 laps to go.
Bottom line starting to surge ahead here on the front stretch. Let's see exactly who's going to lead this lap. And it looks like Bounty just barely.
Look at Levine, though. He's taking the field 3 wide with Babcock. McFadden made contact a Little.
Oh, no. There goes Little.
Little saves it. We keep racing. Battle for the lead. Levine pushing Bounty. Now Bounty blocking the wall. No way to bounce back to block Levine inside. It's 3 wide as McFadden gets ditched.
Yeah, and I think Bounty is in trouble right now, considering he does not have a whole lot of draft help. Oh, there goes McFadden spinning through the grass. Yellow flag is out.
And this triggers the green-white checkered. Mark McFadden turned around by Jason Hand. And now, we'll see how they restack them. This after a stack up, as McFadden got shuffled back.
Yeah, you can see Jason clearly came up into McFadden there. Unfortunate. I know Hand didn't mean to do that, but definitely went up into McFadden. And McFadden just having a fantastic day. Now has probably not too happy about that.
See Hand just starts hooking right, and that goes into McFadden.
Yeah, I don't think Hand really did anything particularly wrong with his wheel. He wasn't really steering to go up. I think it just something about the air and the handling of these race cars just seems to be very unpredictable.
Both of them have to take the fast repair, it looks like here. Meatball flags for the 2 of them. Jason Hand is already out of his race car. And it looks like Monty Kleinsmith might be dealing with a technical issue yet again. Of note, Babcock is in the position for the lucky dog, 3 laps down. He would need all 3 green-white checkers to have a shot at being on the lead lap again, from what it looks like here. But what a run from back to front for Justin Levine on that restart.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it just shows that at a moment's notice, he can flip a switch and he could drive his way to the front. I mean, he's shown that time and time again. He's driven through the middle. That time, he was at the tippity top of the racetrack, and wow. I mean, we haven't really seen a whole lot of drivers make that 3rd groove up top work very well here tonight, and he showed that it is an option.
And we've seen that several times over. Of note, Little, along with McFadden, electing to pit. McFadden has taken the faster pair, and it's good to go the rest of the way.
Yeah, good to see him still on the lead lap. You know, still has a chance. McFadden's been fast. The 48, I would not count him out of it at all. But Levine, none of us picked the one. We'll see if he's going to be able to maintain this position. Of course, he's going to, even though he is good friends with Heath Snyder, I don't know if they're going to be too friendly towards the end of this race, just considering this is going to be every man for themselves. When you're on a green-white checkered, I don't know how much cooperation we're going to see here.
Well, to find out, after all, it's time to go into the bus stop. Everybody is now doing the Raja Karuv. Brandon Shikanian and Faison Chief saying, if he can do it, I'm doing it too.
Yeah.
But what line do you choose if you're Levine? We've already seen the top line for most of the restarts after the speed picks up has been solid.
That's really tough. I don't know. I mean, I know Bounty has been in control for a lot of this race. I would go with what Bounty's been doing. I mean, it's been working for him. I would try to go to the top.
Looks like Levine might be thinking about exactly that here. He's already indicating top. Snyder looks like to the inside. So this bounces Levine with Sheath. Bounty to work with Snyder. And the one to go signal is now out. So in turn, 11 drivers still in the race, 10 with the shot to win the race. Of note, Babcock, it looks like, not sure the exact reason here, did not get the lucky dog trigger, so might have had contact at the time of the caution.
That's unfortunate. So yeah, he's not going to be able to get back on the lead lap, even if we had all 3 green-white checkers. So just unfortunate for the 99. Always a really good super speedway racer, and probably definitely heartbroken.
Just about time to sort things out here. Who's really impressed you the most here tonight on the track that we haven't talked about as much?
I mean, I gotta say Mark McFadden. I mean, I think he's been doing a great job. I think the 48 has shown that I think he's capable of possibly even winning one of these things. I'd love to see him go to victory lane, and I think that this is all these races are just serving as learning experiences for him for the other possible victories. So I think could we see him work his way up? But I've definitely been impressed with him. But what about yourself?
In terms of who we haven't talked about too much, I've liked what we've seen from Scott Wise.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's been really, really good, even with the damaged race car.
Now he's up to 6th again. So we get ready for the first of 3 green-white checkered attempts. Remember, if we get to the white flag, it's a race to the checkered. As simple as that. If we have a caution before the white flag, we'll re-rack them and stack them again. If we get a caution on the 3rd attempt, it will end under caution. Technical issues now for Michael Little. Green flag is out. 2 laps to go in the first GWC. And as stack up again, Snyder has another issue in the gears.
Oh, no.
That's
Snyder, we thought he had that all ironed out, but apparently not, and that is going to hurt Sean Bounty tremendously.
That's his 2nd time this race having an issue getting up to speed. Levine is trying to freight train with Faison Chief.
Now, do we make it to the white flag? Here comes Bounty. Bounty's not discouraged. He's going to take him 3 wide up top. Look at the runs that the 34 is getting here.
Bounty trying to find someone to work with. He's found someone. Wise wants the lead. He goes inside. Bounty ditches him. White flag is up on the stand. Final time around from Daytona in the penultimate race of the season. Right now it's Levine, the Pied Piper. Sheath trying to push him.
Who, of course, is going to be leaving. Oh, Bounty into the wall. Getting loose. We could see possibly a crash 3 wide as Heath Snyder recovers from his restart. drives his way back up to 4th.
So Bounty gets ditched back. Here comes the run from Snyder. Levine having to play the lines. Trouble in the back of the group. McFadden and company crash. 3-4 cars into the wall as Levine tries to block the lines. Coming out of turn 4. Levine has the run. Sheehan trying to go inside. Levine tries to block and can't. Sheehan gets turned around. At the line, it's Sheehan by 11 1,000th of a second.
Wow, what a finish. Faison Schick finished 2nd last week, and he wins this week. What a finish for the 15.
You find friends where they land, and in this case, it's Bounty. He tries to cut inside, nearly turned Levine. Bounty nearly turned him, and it still worked.
Wow, what a finish.
And remember, since then, Bounty has been working with a few of those drivers of Mantle and Sheath as well. We've seen that as well with a few of the other drivers. And tonight, going from enemies to frenemies to friends to use the numbers game to win.
Yeah, that was just plain awesome right there. And it wouldn't have worked if they had not have gotten a clear of Heath Snyder. But wow, just awesome. I know Faison is probably just beside himself. And what's really crazy about this is Faison even said it last week that he is not a oval racer. This has been some of his first really experiences with oval racing, and now he has won in a series that has some of the best super speedway drivers on the service.
You can tell by the fact he's recreating the Dale Senior celebration. He's pumped. It's his first win of the season, and it comes in the 11th race of the campaign. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results as Sheath burns it down in the grass. The difference, again, 11 1,000th of a second over Justin Levine. Bounty finishes 3rd, pushing the 15. Snyder, Mantle, Wise, Ichkanian, Little months the top 8. McFadden finished in 9th, 1 lap down after the crash into turn 3. Matthew Kleinsmith also did not finish in turn with a crash. Babcock finished in 11th, Hand and Self. Your running order here tonight. Take a very quick break. When we come back, it's post-race coverage here on GridVision. You're watching GridVision Superspeedways, presented by First Coast Fleet Services. Welcome back to GridVision, where we just spent Monday in a pack. Justin Prince, Brian Britt with you, Austin Jarvis Sharp producing, as we get ready to talk with your top 3 tonight. It's an Alliance 1-3 for Sheath and Bounty. Let's take the time to speak with some of those drivers, why don't we, here in this one. Sean Bounty starting things out tonight for our conversations was the pole sitter, and in turn finished in the 3rd spot. He now joins the broadcast booth. Sean, not a win tonight, but it's another top 3. Mathematically, I have some good news. You're the champion.
That's pretty cool.
Talk us through tonight's race, first of all.
Man, it's just a pretty simple race for the most part. You can do a lot with this car, but the one thing you don't want to be is last in line. If there's a long chain reaction accordion and you're the last car and you hit the brakes, it's really easy to lose the draft in this car. You can't suck up to the bubble, and I knew by lap 2.5 that the outside lane was fully in control, so I just stuck up there pretty much the whole race. When it came to the last couple laps there, Levine came up through the outside, and then he dove to the bottom and got a big run and some big help and got to the bottom. And I look up and I see, I don't even know who it was. It's a gray car in my mirror. And right when he could get to me, it felt like he hit the brakes or something. So I had no momentum to even drag them back and then get going again. And then shortly after that, the caution came out. So he had control. And then after that, just the last couple laps, just a little hiccups. I got stuck in the wall. Right when I was coming around turn 2, the game kind of hiccuped a little bit, and my frame froze. And next thing I know, I'm hugging the wall, and I'm trying to get it off there without wrecking anybody, and then come back through the field, making a hole on the outside that really wasn't there, more than an inch on either side. And then, Frezon, he almost lost. He almost lost the draft coming to the very end of the race, and I kept yelling at him to, go low, hang him tight, so that way he can slow them down, and I could push back up to Faison and give him a big bump, and hopefully we still had a chance when I got back to him. So I'm really excited to have something to do coming to the end there. But yeah, with less help, it wasn't really as much about the win as it was just hanging on to a decent spot, which I feel like is most of these races. With just not enough help.
But in turn, also mention mathematically, you're the champion for this season and for the series. How does that make you feel?
It's pretty cool. It's absolutely an honor, and I love racing here so much. There's that bittersweet moment where I had a couple guys, close competition. Real life is a thing, and you can't dedicate your whole life to the game. So some of the close competitions weren't here, and it allowed me to pull a bigger lead than I probably should have or could have. But aside from that, it's been fun racing everybody here this season. I look forward to coming back for the last race, and really appreciate you guys putting on this show. It had a blast.
Anyone who want to give a shout out to in turn after this one tonight?
Yeah, just all you guys at GridVision for all the broadcasting you do, putting on the series, sticking it out. It's been a blast, and everybody that was racing against, and Faison and Bobby Mantle, who I've been in the channel with for a good chunk of this series. After beginning of the series, a couple of the guys I was racing with, they fell out, and I was kind of by myself for a few weeks, and it kind of got a little lonely, and they picked me up, and it's been fun having somebody to talk to during the races and coordinate what I could with. So been a great season. Thank you.
Well, congratulations once again on the run tonight, Sean.
Thank you very much.
Sean Bounty, again, mathematically is the champion. He also finishes in third spot here tonight, pushing the 15 to the victory. Now, second place tonight, the driver who got passed in the final few hundred feet, Justin Levine. Justin Levine, in turn, gets the chance to speak with Brian Britt about that run.
Justin, man, great job to you tonight. Just came a little bit short, but you had a hot rod underneath you here tonight. I mean, you were just able to generate runs that no one else really could, whether it be on the top groove or the middle, or even on the bottom. I mean, walk us through how that car was handling.
The car was a lot of fun. The side draft, just a little bit too much. I wish it was a little more realistic. I feel like it was just maybe 10% more than it should be, but that bottom line, you couldn't go at all. And on top of it, whatever gearing was in the car, it just never cooled down, so it was really hard to be the pusher and try to get momentum on the bottom. But just yet again, another super speedway race, playing chess at 200 miles an hour, made sure that any run I took was going to be on the outside of somebody to hold them back. and people gave me room there, and we were able to have a shot there, but it just wasn't enough. Didn't have help this time, but very happy with P2.
And it was really, really close. I mean, Faison only got you by, I do believe, 100th. So it was very, very, very close. Coming to the line, it seemed like you might have had it. But, like you were saying, do you think the oval refresh had a big change on the style of racing here tonight, or a big effect, I should say?
I didn't notice it, but I felt I would think that if this was a day track, yes, I feel like maybe the lines would have been a little bit different there. But at nighttime, really didn't notice it. I'm not sure if they changed the draft package at all. Maybe it wasn't like the setup or anything like that. Maybe it's just the new style of the Gen 6 racing like that. But really didn't notice the update there.
Well, that's interesting for sure. But great job to you, Justin. I mean, definitely solid season. We talked about how you're one of the best super speedway drivers, I'd say, on iRacing for sure. And unfortunately, you got beat today, though, Justin. I mean,
Counting them all.
Yeah. Does that motivate you think, for next week, the last race of the season?
Yeah, I definitely, especially being part of GridVision, definitely want to. I opened the season with the win. I want to close the season with the win.
Well, I heard that. We got real close here tonight. I know Faison finished second last week. He won this week, so hopefully you finishing second this week, you'll win next week. Who can we give a shout out to, Justin?
A shout out to the best broadcast team in the business there. All the viewers, can't thank it enough taking the time and watching us. I hope we put on a good show. It seems like almost every week is a photo finish. There is no boring finish for sure. Race may be boring, but we definitely know how to give them a last 10 lap shootout there. And Darby for taking the time and hitting all the right angles, and all the people that join us every Monday to race with us. I know the car count's been low, but it's been pretty good. It's been a lot of fun racing with everybody, and I hope to see them back on GridVision very soon.
Yeah, 100%. Been fun. I mean, you talk about this. You said the race has been boring. This has definitely not been a boring race. I'll tell you that by far. Me and Justin had a blast calling this one for sure. But thanks for your time, Mr. Levine. You have yourself a great night.
You too.
It's Justin Levine coming away second tonight. But tonight, it's breakthrough for Faison. He picks up the win while doing it essentially sideways. Faison, how are you feeling about your first win of the season?
It feels surreal, though, especially the way that I won it, going sideways and almost losing it. If it was like maybe like a foot longer, I probably definitely would have lost it. But yeah, it just feels surreal to me that I won this race after being P2 the race before and not getting a top 3 at all within the season.
Yes, indeed. And how would you describe the progression throughout this season in turn that led up to what we've seen here tonight? Because a couple months ago here at Daytona, we've seen how crazy things got to the point where your team owner, who I have worked with over the years in broadcasting, was like, it wasn't the best of nights for the team, was it? Essentially is what was said. And it seemed like things changed immediately after that.
Yeah, like after realizing, after I was being pretty aggressive and doing really outrageous moves that probably shouldn't have happened, I realized that I should probably clean myself up. I had like my teammates, Chad and Bobby, helping me out, showing me off, saying that this is not good. Just kind of improve on yourself. Stop, if you just kind of act like a nobody within the race, nothing will happen. As long as you can stay out of the wrecks, you should be good. And pretty much I took all that advice into today's race. I just kind of stayed in the back, relaxed for a little bit, kind of went for the pushes only for stage points and until the end. That's really wanted to show myself off there. Really go for the pushes, because I really didn't even push anyone until the end there. Like, Levine was the only guy that I was pushing this entire race at the end, because I was like, if I just stay in the back, don't touch anyone, don't push anyone, then I should be good. And especially with how chaotic it got in the middle of the race, just staying back and relaxing was just going to keep me alive, and didn't realize that it was going to help me get a win.
Well, in turn, it got you the win. And in turn, there's just one more race to go in the series this season. Talladega, 65 laps with the Cup cars, the next-gen cars. How do you try and close things out around that approach in turn for Dega with the next-gen car to close out the season?
Pretty much just work with my team, try to get Chad back into the field, and then work with Sean and Bobby, try to get the 4 of us into a tandem and get hopefully the top 4 positions of the 4 of us.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, I like to shout out Bobby and Chad, my teammates. Those two helped me out a lot, giving me strategy calls and giving me like the know-hows on like oval racing and stuff. That helped me get better in both here in the league and in official races. And also I'd like to congratulate Sean for the push and the championship. If it wasn't for him, I would have not been this far up. And especially that moment that we've had, the moments that we've had, it's really changed the way I've been racing. And thankfully he's been nothing but supportive this entire time that we've been together.
Well, congratulations once again on the victory here tonight.
Thank you.
Once again, Faison Chiat coming away with the victory tonight. I'd like to thank him, Justin Levine, Sean Powney for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on GridVision. What a finish, to say the least, Brian. What a finish.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. I mean, to see Faison, get it sideways like that, and then, of course, see Sean kind of push him to that as well, it was awesome. We've seen, Justin Levine even said it, and we've seen so many good finishes in this series. Even we've had small car counts, but I'll tell you what, it has not, I don't think, detracted from the excitement, or should I say subtracted from the excitement that we've seen all season long. I hate that this series is getting ready to conclude, or this season, I should say, because it has been just so exciting to spend Mondays in the pack, hasn't it been?
Yes, indeed. And remember, the season finale is this upcoming Monday, where it'll be Talladega with the next-gen cars. We'll be racing 65 laps to close out the season from Dega, see who picks up the last win of the season. Also remember, the SSRL and its truck series heads off to its next respective date this Thursday, while it'll be special event action with Thunderclap this upcoming Saturday for the 2023 Snowball Beer Brawl. That will take place at Five Flags for its recreation of the Snowball Derby. Be sure to tune in for both of those as well as our season finale. But until that point, it's time to say goodbye. For my co-announcer tonight, once again, Brian Britt, for our producer in Austin Darbyshire, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching GridVision Superspeedways, presented by First Coast Fleet Services, where you spent Monday in a pack. Congratulations to Faison Chiat, your winner from Daytona.